I'm Dan Hoard at Camp Higher Ground. They've got me jumping into the cold tub after practice as we plunge into the program. But you know what? If I've got to do it, the head coach has to do it. We're getting in. Here we go. Oh! Yeah! How's that feel? Not great? Not great.
That's cold.
It's really cold.
Yeah.
Is this something you do, or is this like once a camp?
No, I definitely don't do this. We make our guys do it because they're in training and they have to try to get the recovery in so they can come back and play another practice. But for us coaches, unless it's really, really hot, I'm not doing this.
It is just one of the many things that your staff does to make sure that these guys, tip-top shape, stay healthy, and they're ready to go for August 31st.
Yeah, I mean, we let the trainers and the strength coaches come up with the training methods and what we have to do. Obviously, they've done some research on cold baths. I've seen now they're selling it to the normal persons now. So people have it at their houses.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's a lot of benefit. So, but our guys do feel refreshed after getting these cold tubs, and certainly once you get in here after a couple of minutes, you go numb anyway.
I'm reaching that point. I'm getting numb very quickly. Let's talk a little bit about Camp Higher Ground here in West Harrison, Indiana. Is this similar to where you grew up?
It is. Out in the country a little bit in Hillsborough, Orange County, where I grew up. My parents, we moved out when I was in the 7th grade and had like 20 acres out in the country. Had a pond, had a river running back through it. Deer, wildlife everywhere. So when you come out here, it's very familiar to me. You can hear the bugs at night. You have to swat the gnats out here at night and watch out for some mosquitoes as well. But it reminds me of home, and so it's such great space, and and you also feel like you're getting a little bit of mama's cooking in here in the dining hall. There's some great food.
So there are practices, there are walkthroughs, there are meetings. You're obviously studying the tape after these practices. With the little amount of free time that you have here, how do you use it?
Yeah, there's not a ton of free time, as you mentioned. One of the things we do that's fun is we do have a cornhole tournament with our guys, kind of like a March Madness tournament, and each position group has to participate as well as the coaches, and that's been fun. And we're having our championship game on Thursday night of Higher Ground in front of the whole team. So that's one of the things we like to do is just play some cornhole, cut up a little bit. We have a basketball court outside here. Some guys shoot hoops sometimes, and really sometimes more than anything, just really hanging out, talking, a conversation here, a conversation there. I think is one of the definite benefits of being out here.
Were you in the cornhole tournament?
I was in the cornhole tournament, made it through 2 rounds, got beat, I think, in the final 8.
Okay.
DT and Evan Tangenall beat us, put us out. DT, man, he played his best he's ever played. I just watched him play last night. He couldn't even hit the board. He was killing it against us. I think he had it out to get me.
A former quarterback loses to 2 O-linemen. Come on.
If you have to lose to some guys, I'd rather be the O-line. That's our guys.
Speaking of the fact that you were a former quarterback, you were a good one. App State went undefeated during the regular season, your senior year. What was the scouting report? What were you like as a player?
Yeah, I was an overachiever. I appreciate the compliment. I wasn't that good. I played hard. I knew what we were trying to do and played hard. We had a bunch of good guys around me, and we had a great culture there. We always believed we were going to win. We were in every game, and if you go back and look at the scores in '95, that year of my senior year, there were a lot of tight games, and we just pulled them out in the 4th quarter and, won a bunch of them, 12 of them to be exact. And, I think, certainly in this game, you have to have that kind of culture that you always feel like you're in it, and then you find a way to win it at the end, and hopefully we're creating that here this year for the Bearcats.
After you played at Appalachian State, you coached there and eventually became the head coach, but you were an assistant when they pulled off arguably the greatest upset in college football history, beating Michigan in the Big House. Is there something about that game that not many people know, some sort of anecdote or something behind the scenes that you remember?
Well, there's so many things.
Yeah.
Really, I do remember that fall camp, like we're in right now. It was very competitive, and I feel like we tackled every day. It was a very physical camp, and we ended up knocking out a few of our players, including our starting center. So our guy who started that game was a redshirt freshman, had never played before. His first game was at the Big House.
Wow.
Every snap was shotgun snap, and it was on the money. Armani Edwards, our starting quarterback, got an AC sprain. Appreciate that, Mink. Got an AC sprain 2 weeks prior to playing and couldn't practice for 2 weeks. leading up to the game, they had 4 touchdowns in the game and ended up beating Michigan. So, there's a lot of different things that happen.
Well, let's put some ice in this.
Oh, Dante, come on, man.
Here we go.
How much ice you think we need, buddy?
Oh, wow, there ain't none in here. Don't put it on your side.
Yeah, give me some over here, Dante.
Dante Corleone making sure that we're nice and cold.
Yeah.
The Godfather.
Dante's always looking out for me and Dan, and we appreciate everything he does for us. Appreciate Dante.
Just when my feet were adjusting, now we got a new batch of fresh ice. All right, I'm going to hit you with 5 wild card questions. I got a few written down on a piece of paper here. Who is the all-time greatest athlete in any sport, in your opinion?
All-time greatest athlete in any sport? I would have to say Michael Jordan from North Carolina.
Michael Jeffrey Jordan,
Yep.
good pick. What do you like to spend your money on?
What do I like to spend my money on? Well, my wife. Man,
Beth is here.
because
Yeah,
if you
can
have a
answer
happy wife, you got a
appropriately.
happy life.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
whatever she chooses.
yeah, whatever she wants.
Okay. You heard that.
She gets.
You can put that in play. You got to play Pebble Beach fairly recently. If you could play any other golf course in the world, what would it be?
Oh, wow. My favorite tournament, I love golf, love watching. My favorite tournament every year is the Masters. So Augusta National will be the top of the list.
Yeah.
I heard it's pretty hard to get down there to be able to play.
Very hard, but you know some important people.
I'm gaining on that. I got to meet somebody to get me down there.
All right, similar question. The favorite place you've ever visited?
Oh man, favorite place I've ever visited. I really haven't been a whole lot of places outside the United States.
Yeah.
So probably one of our favorite places we've been to as a family was out in Montana. We had a guy who has about 10,000 acres, and you go out to this ranch and you have ATVs, you got 22s, you're shooting the little gophers coming up out of the ground, and really just a great time of getting away.
Yeah.
We went there a few summers ago, and it was a great time with our family.
Sounds like it. All right, 5th and final question. This is kind of similar to the App State question. Tell me something about you that not many people know.
I don't know really what they don't know and they do know. I was a walk-on football player. I tore my ACL my first game of my junior year in high school, so I didn't really get recruited. So came back my senior year and played, and didn't have anywhere to go after my senior year. In about February of my senior year, when normal seniors already know where they're going, I got a call from Tim Horton, which is a coach at Appalachian State. He said, "Why don't you come up and watch spring practice?" So I said, "Sure." I came out and watched spring practice. He said, "You want to come walk on here?" I was like, "Sure, I have nowhere else to go." Ended up walking on, changed my life forever.
How about that?
Met my wife. I have all 3 kids at App State, and started my whole career because of a phone call that one coach made to get me up there. Then, of course, playing for the legendary Jerry Moore. Just a great decision on my part to be able to go to App State.
That's awesome. I'm glad I asked the question. Are your legs and lower extremities cold enough?
I'm good right now. I'm numb, so I can sit in here all day, Stipe. Trying to get me Stipe in the tub, but I love it, man. It's not bad.
Zach Stipe getting called out by his head coach.
Yes.
I think we are sufficiently numb. Let's get out.
All right. Appreciate it. Really not bad.
Once you adjust.
Once you adjust.